It's all business for All in Fun today at Belmont. She cuts back in distance, seeking her first win since last summer at Saratoga. Her trainer, Shug McGahee, an Eclipse Award winner, Kentucky Derby winner, and Hall of Famer. We'll hear from Shug on his incredible journey in the sport of kings. And Bob Baffert's ready to unleash his 3-year-olds on Philly. We'll preview West Coast as he tries to follow up his Travers score in the Pennsylvania Derby. And Kentucky Oaks winner Abel Tasman returns after the Coaching Club American Oaks win. Can anyone stop her in the cotillion? All that coming up on another edition of Belmont Park Live. Good to have you with us. Those joining us on MSG Plus and Fox Sports Ohio. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Getting set for a big weekend coming up. Of course, the Kelso we will have for you this weekend. But a good card and a late pick 4 coming up to get you to Saturday and Sunday. Fans and family enjoying all the action. And we got most of our crew back here this afternoon. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling, Paul LaDuca, former New York Met LA Dodger, back in the house after being gone a couple of days. Maggie Wolfadell still gone on vacation. She'll be back next week, so we wish her well and fun in the sun. In the meantime, guys, interesting pick 4. And for Port McGee, coming up a little bit later on, could be long gone in that race.
She looks like the main speed in race number 8 and one you want to lean on. It's interesting in race number 8. It's a question of sprinters versus routers because there's 2 very talented horses that do not have sprint speed, and there are 2 horses that have confirmed to be good in sprinting. I lean towards the sprinters, Paul.
Yeah, sometimes you got to lean toward the sprinters. And I think the advantage that Port McGee has is that he has multiple wins on the turf course, Wolfie. I think that's big, too, and the horse could be lone speed. There's going to be 2 horses, I think. Port McGee and then the Linda Rice horse in the last, the 6. New Canaan. I don't know.
Canaan.
No, I think those are the 2 horses that are going to get singled the most. So I think you need to try to get your value maybe in the first couple races here.
New Canaan could be carrying around so much weight down the track that she can't possibly get it done.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to be keen towards that one. Let's take a look at the track conditions for this afternoon. Main track is fast. Turf course firm, mostly sunny, 78 degrees, and light winds out of the north, 15 to 20 miles per hour. Beautiful day here in Elmont, New York. We're about 13 minutes away from race 6. This is what we're looking at for the pick 4 sequence. Race 6 kicks us off at 7 furlongs on the turf. That 7th race, 6.5 on the main in Port McGee. All in Fun for Shug McGahee. Will battle at 6 furlongs over the inner turf in the 8th. Close things out with a New York bred maiden 40 event on the grass at 7 furlongs. Play along from home. Hopefully make some money and make it a profitable day as we show you all the action we have coming up. Bet 100 and you will get 100 in your account by using the promo code LIVE. You can play with Naira Bets all across the country. Get signed up with them and play along as well at over 200 racetracks here in the U.S. Take a look at the field here for race 6 that kicks off our sequence of this late pick 4. Entry-level allowance, 7 furlongs on the turf and beat the benchmark. It is John Velasquez aboard for trainer Chad Brown.
Well, Beat the Benchmark is the horse to beat. She was obviously a talented 2-year-old, ran well when she was 3rd in the Talma, hasn't been seen since the end of October. The question is, what was it that kept her off the racetrack and whether or not she'll be ready to run her good race coming off the layoff?
Yeah, she's really a tough read here. We'll get you back to the Chelsea Flower. This is her last race, October 30th, day before Halloween of 2016. She hasn't been seen since this race. She was a good second base finish behind Create a Dream. And listen, it's a good race. Andy brings up a lot of great questions, but you do have the master Chad Brown who can get a horse ready off a layoff.
And she was in a grade 1 in just the 2nd start of her career. Hit the board in that start. That was the Natalma at Woodbine. Will she be ready off the bench? For more on this 6th race, let's meet the 4th person on our crew. It's time for our Paddock Report with Gabby Gaudette, brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future. Gabby.
Thank you, guys, and I must mention it's an absolutely glorious day here at Belmont. Happy to be outside in the paddock, and this is a tough race. Now, I do think that the 2 Beat the Benchmark is the horse to beat, but there's an opportunity for some horses to maybe take that step forward with either a surface switch or a change in distances. Now, the 2 Beat the Benchmark, of course, is coming in off of a layoff, and I think she looks great for Chad Brown. It's no surprise that Chad can get a horse ready off of these types of layoffs, so I think she's going to be able to take that that step forward, and it definitely makes sense that Chad is cutting her back in distance off of the layoff, because to me, she's really rounded out behind the saddle. She just looks more like a sprinter. So 7/8 versus the mile that she was running in at 2, I think is definitely a better option for her. Now, the other Chad Brown runner is the 6, Ellery Lane. And the question for her is, does she want more distance? Does she want less distance? She was certainly capable of sprinting overseas in Ireland. And I think that this distance is fine. She's just going to have to take a step forward off of her last race. And I'm interested to see kind of how she behaves onto the track as well. She looked like she might have been lugging in a bit in that last race. I can't really see any change in equipment with her either. So we'll see. But the 6, Ellery Lane, maybe she can take that step forward with more distance or with less distance. And the 11, Great Import, I'll tell you, this is a filly that I really like on the cutback. Last time out, she did go the mile, and she was, in my opinion, caught up in a pace that kind of fell apart in the late stages. But with one race under her belt and moving forward, I like her cutting back to the 7/8. She looks more of a sprinter. The only issue is, you know, she's a 4-year-old. She only has 2 races under her belt, so it's taken some time to keep her at the races for trainer Kieran McLaughlin. But I'll say she looks incredibly fit and looks great to me in the paddock as well, guys.
Thanks, Gabby. Well, 11-1 on Great Import. So a pick 4 that's a bit puzzling here. 164,000 plus in the pool and growing. How are you guys going to play it?
I'm going to use the 1, 2, and 6, the 2 Chad Brown runners, as well as the 1 who I'm actually interested in quality time for Christophe Clement. 2, 4, 9 in race number 8. I think Paul and I tickets might look somewhat similar. Spreading. I'm using 3, 5, 6, 8 in the feature. I'm using all the ones with turf experience, the 3 and 5, the ones to beat. Trying to get the 6, a small ticket for $18. Try to get a live for the 6 and see if we can make a horse that might be 6-5 into a horse at 4, 5-1.
Yeah, I'm with you. You try to get to that horse in the last. I'm going to all that race. You see that other race in race 7, 2 and 9. The 9's not going to be 20-1 on the morning line, about 6-1. I'm just trying to get to race number 9 and get to the 6. I think the 2 is going to be ultra tough in race number 7 with Mike Leslie aboard. Mr. Buff.
Let me ask you a quick question. If we could use one more horse in the last, I would throw in, I can't help myself. Freckle to Freck would have been my horse.
Okay,
I'm the 12.
Did the 14 drew in, right?
The 14 did grow, and that's your backup.
Maybe the Gaston Grand horse, but I'll tell you what, Freckle to Freck's got a shot in there. Here's the thing about the 6 in the last. That horse could be 4-5, has gate issues, needs to get out of the gate.
Well, yeah, Freckle to Freck was in. Princess Micaiah did draw in, by the way, as well, the 14, who's not impossible.
As Paul was just saying.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Freckle to Freck.
As Paul was just saying. All right, sorry.
Listen, it's hard for all 3 people to pay attention.
Here's our post parade, 9-2 on quality time. By the way, no Ellery Lane for Paulie on this pick 4. Intriguing here. Christophe Clement sends this one out. Joel Rosario.
Quality time had a bit of a trip, shuffled back, and her return, first time in the country, 7 furlongs and 1 race made suitor.
Our favorite, Paulie, beat the benchmark, John Velasquez for Chad Brown.
Yeah, she's a deserving favorite. The one worry is the long layoff. 3 different racetracks, 3 good races in her 3 starts.
Narsdale is going to try the turf for the first time, trained by Jimmy Jerkins. Junior Alvarado aboard.
Much as I respect the barn, she doesn't really have a big pedigree to move forward in the grass. It just seems like she's run out of options on the dirt.
Double dose is the 4 for David Jacobson. Angel Arroyo sitting on 999 wins.
Yeah, and 20-1 could be a gift. I think this filly's got a big shot. Both wins here at Belmont. You look at the last 2 times, has had good trips.
Another big price next door in First Charmer. And it's Jose Lezcano aboard.
She's got some 7 furlong races going back that would give her a chance here. The problem is her recent form hasn't been that good.
There's the other Chad Brown runner, the 6, Ellery Lane. Second start in the States, and Javier Castellano aboard.
Sort of taken back to last time. It did no running, and probably going to run a little bit better today off that morning line at 6-1.
Aspen Hilltop, daughter of Bernardini for Gary Contessa with Dylan Davis.
Another one going the wrong way in the dirt, whose connections are trying turf without significant pedigree.
The 8, Tis an Illusion, Miguel Vera runner, speedster with Joe Bravo.
This is the filly with the most experience on the turf, and she's got a good record. 2 wins, 5 seconds and a third from 10 starts. And you're right, Greg, a lot of speed.
Stormy Song is the 9, trained by Brian Lynch. Luis Saez rides.
Now this one has speed too. It could be forwardly placed here. Also trying the turf gear, but once again, it's not a pedigree that screams big improvement in the grass, though she's not untalented on dirt.
Godolphin sends out great import Kieran McLaughlin runner with Kendrick Carmouche.
Showed speed last time in a race where the pace fell apart a bit. Didn't run that badly for her first start off a 14-month layoff. Can she improve second off the layoff?
And battlement right at her morning line for Belmont with Irad Ortiz Jr.
I'm not a fan of this filly. I just think this is a play against at 4-1. Her 3 wins, she won in a 6-horse field, a 5-horse field, and an 8-horse field on 35 events cents on the dollar overseas.
That's your field to kick off this late pick 4, approaching 200,000 in the pool. Beat the benchmark. This filly is the one to beat, but she'll have to do it off a long layoff, making her 3-year-old debut for Chad Brown. Is she ready? We'll find out next.
Claiborne Farm presents Trap Shot. This graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer is now an emerging young sire. His top runners include Fish Trap Road, winner of the Grade 3 Dwyer Stakes, plus 2-year-old stakes winner Mirai, graded stakes place Quick Release, and Grade 1 performers My Man Sam and Wild Shot. Already ranked among the nation's leading sires of 2-year-old winners, Trap Shot has the speed, the class, and the pedigree to remain Tappett's top sign. Trap Shot at Claiborne Farm.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Naira Bets, racing's best play.
Pero me llama la atención de que el ejemplar trabajó 47 en la pista de grama y eso para mí es indicativo de que el ejemplar lo han estado preparando para esto. Sobre los ejemplares, el A-Lane, el número 6 que entrena a Chad Brown, siempre es de cuidado. El ejemplar número 2, otro ejemplar, Beat de Benchmark, que entrena a Chad Brown, otro ejemplar que consideramos fuerte en la carrera. Y Tissel Illusion, el número 8 que está 14-1. Sería el otro ejemplar que nosotros vamos a considerar en este evento, Darwin.
Bueno, ahí tienen la información de Luis Alberto Grandinson a 4 minutos para la partida. Una carrera donde puede suceder cualquier cosa, verdaderamente es una carrera interesante. Nosotros observamos a este ejemplar Tisan Illusion, me agrada, pero sin embargo, estos últimos trabajos de este ejemplar en Paddock Racing,
back on Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus and Fox Sports Ohio. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling, Paula Duca, and Gabby Gaudette. We get set for this first leg of the late pick 4. And there's the other Chad Brown runner. He, of course, has the favorite. He also has this one, Ellery Lane, who second start of her career faced Roly-Poly, who since that meeting has gone on to win multiple Group 1s.
Obviously, she had some talent as a 2-year-old in Europe. The question is, does she have that talent anymore? Her last race didn't answer many questions. Thought she was green in the stretch, Paul, lugging in. Unusual for a Chad Brown horse. She needs to step forward in her second race off the layoff.
Yeah, she does. And maybe they're going back to what she was doing over in Ireland, which was sprinting. And they tried her going long, and it did not happen. Now, when you get to the 4 in here, double dose. I like this one a tiny bit. You see the extension blinker on the complete outside there, 23-1. Look back at the 2 races at Belmont, the 6 furlongs. Winner in both those races. I get it, claiming 50 and starter allowance. Then dirt, then got left on a yielding racetrack, then taken off the turf. This horse is back on the turf. I don't know who can win, but I think the horse can hit the board.
She's a big price, and her trainer, David Jacobsman, has been on a very good run since we got back to Belmont.
Yeah, 2 wins yesterday. Meanwhile, on the rail, Christophe Clement sending out quality time, was off for over a year. Comeback efforts, going to need better here.
Well, yeah, she'll have to improve. But if you watch her last race, I mean, she didn't really break well. And then Irad Ortiz was just sort of strangling her back. You almost feel his instructions, and she just was never comfortable. This was a race that you had to be forwardly placed. The horse on the inside in third wins over the horse on the lead. So she had no chance in there. And I actually thought she did well to pick up some horses in the stretch, considering the dynamics of the race and the trip she has. Second start of a layoff, second start in the country, why not?
Yeah, she ran well after this. And like you said, this wasn't an easy field. Fire Key was on a roll in his, a very, very nice turf sprinter. You're going to see now get wheeled to the outside. So it's a great effort. It really is. Sometimes these horses can fool you a little bit, but I like she showed courage going through horses and splitting horses late there as well, Greg.
Well, second stage starts. We will see. Has certainly had more time now to acclimate with more. Let's go to Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. And I just hope today, unlike last time out, at least with Joel Rosario aboard today, just let the one Quality Time kind of get out of the gate and just position herself from the get-go, because she does look like a filly that has a really sensitive mouth and really doesn't take a liking to a kind of a good hold, I guess you could say, in that what Irad Ortiz did last time out. So we'll see. And she's going to have to work out a trip from the rail, because if she gets back to those antics once again today, I don't think that's going to bode well given the amount of other speed in here. Now, the 9 Stormy's song, I don't know what to make of her, because I think she looks really good for Brian Lynch today. Can she maybe transition the turf? Probably. I mean, she's got kind of a lean, slender type of build. She could just skip over the turf. I just think that she showed really good energy walking onto the track today. So she will be forwardly placed, in my opinion, and it looks like she can get the 7/8. Whether or not she's good enough, I don't know, but she is a price right now at 10-1. But guys, it all does still circle back to the 2 Beat the Benchmark, who I think just fits the conditions of this race really well. I like the cutback in distance forward today.
Oh, no question. She is the one to beat, the 2 filly in here for Chad Brown. But the layoff, if you're going to beat her, if she's not the same, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, I agree off the layoff. And the Chad Brown numbers off layoffs are pretty good. Battleman's taking money. And I'll say something about Battleman. Paul, I'm basically with you. I'm not a big fan of this filly. She was a little bit dead on the board last time at 9-5, because she looked like she could have been even money last time. Today, she's betting a tougher spot.
Yeah, she probably should have won 2 back. But again, you go back to her PPs, Greg, 35 cents on the dollar. She won on synthetic. Her other win on synthetic, 6-horse field. Her lone win on turf against a 5-horse field. That bothers me.
And her good race 2 back was on a yielding turf course. And, of course, this turf very firm.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's the start of the late pick 4 on this Friday afternoon here at Belmont. And Chad Brown with 2 fillies in the race, but it's Beat the Benchmark, the 2. Her 3-year-old debut, the one to beat, is the 2-1 top choice. Let's send it upstairs for the call. The voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, Larry Colmus.
Here's Double Dose moving into the starting gate. First Charmer, the next one to come forward. Great Import. And Battlement will be the last to load. Goes in. They're all in line.
Todos listos.
Breaking through the gate here is Great Import, a bit over anxious. Grabbed by the assistant starter right away.
Great Import.
And they'll bring Great Import back behind the gate to reload here.
We had this happen in an earlier race as well, and we had a starter do just a tremendous job. We're going to show it to you later in the show, but at least Great Import doesn't get away here.
Yeah, did not really run off in here. And as we've seen, I mean, you never want to see this happen, especially you bet the horse. But we've seen recently a number of these horses perform well, so you don't want to get carried away.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you never want to see this. Sometimes these horses get keyed up. The last horse that did this a little bit earlier in the day got a little time to gather himself, but it didn't help. They were 3 for 3 at Saratoga. They've been 0 for 2 at Belmont.
Great Import back in. We go again. Let's head upstairs to Larry Colmus.
Ready once again for the start.
Calentadura. Todos listos.
They're off. Tis an illusion. Great Import on the outside. First Charmer's got some early speed too. Narsdale is close up with Quality Time on the inside. And then it's Beat the Benchmark alongside of Double Dose up the backstretch. And then Ellery Lane to the outside. Stormy's Song is next. And break up another 4 back to Battlement. And the trailer is Aspen Hilltop. So the field running up the backstretch here. First Charmer emerging with the lead. Tis an Illusion second to a 22.24 quarter. Quality Time is third on the inside. Narsdale is fourth. Great Import is fifth by another 2. Then Ellery Lane on the outside of Double Dose. Break of 3 to Beat the Benchmark. Racing to the inside of Stormy's Song around the far turn. Battlement is within 10 lengths of the lead, beginning to move a bit, and the trailer is Aspen Hilltop as they make their way toward the top of the stretch here. First Charmer ran a 45.05 half. Tis an Illusion on the outside second. 2 lengths back, and then comes Quality Time running along third, saving ground toward the top of the stretch. Great Import is next. Ellery Lane to the outside is next. Center of the course, Stormy Song and Battlement on the far outside. Coming into the final furlong, First Charmer, Tis an Illusion. Battlement finishing fast on the extreme outside. Ellery Lane, Stormy Song in it too. They're all coming down to the wire together, and it's going to be a photo that goes to Ellery Lane. Over Battlement, Tis an Illusion, and Stormy Song in 1 minute 20.79.
Ellery Lane, it is the other Chad Brown filly who gets the win here, second time in the States.
She benefited clearly from her debut. And one of the reasons that turf racing can be so exciting is you see these kind of finishes where a number of them come together at the wire. And Ellery Lane got the right trip here and the right ride, gets it done.
Yeah, it gets it done is right. You know, it ended up happening. I thought the 4 was trying to somewhat get away or get off the inside, but then Ellery Lane swung to the outside about right here, and is about 5 wide, and is just going to grind away. You look at the gray, the 12. For a split second, I asked you guys, who's the 12 on the outside? Because you look, and it looked like he was going to get home, but Ellery Lane just keeps on grinding away here.
And it's interesting. She did lug in a little bit when she first swung out to the stretch, and that had been the problem that Javier Castellano had her last time. But after that, she was much more professional, and she showed a real difference. And I think that's a credit to the training staff and to Javier Castellano, who knows her from that one race, to get her to be more focused today, and that clearly made a difference.
You saw the head on there for just a split second there, Greg. I'll tell you what, the 9 ran a bang-up race. That horse got left and flat-footed a little bit and lose the whole ball of wax by about 2 lengths.
She needs to learn to get out of the gate.
Yeah, she does.
She's had that problem in the dirt as well.
Very close for second. It looks like it is Battlement who winds up getting second, but there's a photo for place right now. But it looks like it is 6, 12, and 8. But Ellery Lane, sometimes these horses come from Europe, and they just need a start.
Well, she needed a start. She got it done today. Beat the benchmark. We'd have to watch it again. Don't know if she had any trouble in there, but she really didn't run very well.
Let's take a look at the beginning of this race.
Take a look at the 9, who loses the whole race by about 2 lengths. It's a pretty clean break besides that horse. It just breaks flat-footed. It's about a length or 2 behind. But Andy makes a great point. She does that constantly. It's not like she's rearing up, she's breaking slow. She just breaks flat-footed. It's just she doesn't really like it. I thought she ran good for her first time on turf.
And she's got pace, too. If she could ever get to the front, she might just keep on going.
She could run like her mama. Her mama could run, Stormy Tech.
Well, you look at that pace, it looks very fast, but it's not really that fast. They went under 120 and 4/5 here, so how fast was 45 really?
Ellery Lane at 5 to 1. 5 to 1 on Chad Brown.
What an easy game. How are we not all rich?
2 wins today, by the way, for Javier Castellano. Prices when we come back. To Koffel. Back in action, Grade 1 Vosburg. We'll take a look at him working in the morning and his prospects for moving on to the Breeders' Cup Sprint when we return.
They're off.
Los Alamitos Racecourse congratulates all of the connections of Los Alamitos Derby winner West Coast for his sensational victory in the Grade 1 Travers Stakes at Saratoga. Since our first meet in 2014, many of the top stars in thoroughbred racing have raced at Los Alamitos. Who will be next? Join us for the Los Alamitos Fall Thoroughbred Meet. Opening day is Thursday, September 7th.
Empate entre el 8 y el 12 por la segunda posición. 8 y 12 empataron. 2 trifectas, 2 exactas. No hubo manera de separar estos 2 ejemplares. De cuarto quedó el 9. Buenos dividendos en esta carrera cuando ya en breve el resultado será decretado oficial. Se jugó 478.974. 478.974 fue lo que se apostó.
Back on Belmont Park Live, Ellery Lane for Chad Brown, Javier Castellano. He has 2 wins this afternoon. Wins for Bradley Thoroughbreds and does so at 5-1. By the way, a dead heat for second between the 8 and 12. So I wasn't necessarily wrong or right.
Well, it's a weird photo because you can't really see, right? As you can see on that photo, the riders behind is sort of in the way.
But trust us, it was a dead heat. For more, let's head downstairs to Gabby.
Thank you, Greg. Here with winning jockey Javier Castellano. And Javier, you were aboard Ellery Lane in her United States debut last time out. What was the difference? Even last time out, it kind of looked like she was lugging in with you a bit.
I think she got to get used to a little bit about the track over here. I mean, first time in the country, she doesn't run for almost a year. I think she took a lot out of it to perform in the country. I think Saratoga is a lot of crowd, a lot of people, and I think she get distracted a little bit. Even turn of her horn, she was kind of confused, switch to the right lead or to the left lead, and she switched back and forth. I think it was part of the process. Basically, she had to pay the price, and thank God pay off today. And today was a better distance, 7A. She come from behind horse, and she did a good job today.
And we often see that's the case. Sometimes it takes one start under North American debuters' belts to kind of take that step forward. But big weekend for you. You're heading to Pennsylvania for the Pennsylvania Derby. What can you tell us about timeline coming out of a somewhat disappointing performance last time out in the Haskell?
Unfortunately, in the Haskell, he broke slow out of the gate. Had to squish a little bit to put it close to the pace. I think I made a little mistake. I regroup. I tried to play something else in this time, and a lot of speed in the race. Hopefully he can put in good spot in the race and take it from there.
All right, well, congratulations here and best of luck this weekend, Javier.
Thanks a lot.
All right, 2 wins for Javier, guys.
Gabby, thank you. Yeah, that was Timeline's first defeat in 5 career starts in the Haskell, and he'll be back in Grade 1 action. Pennsylvania Derby, which we'll talk more about coming up when he tackles West Coast in that race. Ellery Lane, 1360 for the win.
By the way, that's why he's a Hall of Famer. Congratulations to him and Chad Brown. I made a little mistake last time on that horse. I'm going to make a little adjustment this time. Great jockeys, great athletes put the onus on themselves. Even though the horse might have run bad, Javier's like, you know what? I'm going to change something a little bit on this horse.
Well, we saw a horse break through the gate in this race coming up. Great import. We had an issue in the Bertram F. Bongard. 2-year-olds running 7 furlongs for $150,000 as well at 9-5 on the board. What a catch. Appropriately named here with what Miguel Ramirez does. How about this catch? And goes down and able to hang on and keep this horse from getting away.
I can't. I mean, you can't even tell almost in the slow-mo how fast the horse is going, how big and strong it is, and he's one man to do that. What an incredible job, what he did to sacrifice himself for the horse and everybody, really.
Reported some pain in the shoulder, and that was it. So good news to report there. Let's pick it up here. Here's the Bertram F. Bongard from earlier today.
She's a length behind now. Inalienable Rights picking up stride. It was within 3.5 lengths of the lead after a 45.94 half mile. Ultimate Enticement and Alien Invasion are at the back of the field, and they're at the top of the stretch here. And it is still a strong Battle Station who is in hand coming to the final furlong, and Kendra Carmouche sets him down with a 6-length lead. Up into second is Inalienable Rights on the outside. What a catch is third, but it's all Battle Station. Battle Station just romping away in the Bertram F. Bongard. Won it easily. Inalienable Rights was second. What a catch and Ultimate Enticement.
Where was everybody else in this race? Debuted on the turf. I think dirt's in the future.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be going back to the turf in the near time. We'll see this horse on New York Bred Showcase Day at Sleepy Hollow, I believe. He'll be the one to catch. He runs this race. They won't catch him.
That was pretty impressive. You're right. And, you know, Wesley Ward debuts a lot of his horses on turf just because he can. But for him to go to dirt, Kendra Carmouche must have said, listen, let's take a shot. This horse is working tremendous on the dirt. And the Son of Warriors rewarded on the Umbrato mare, Uriel. just crushed him today and beat two decent little horses. And I would think Battle Station, like Andy said, is going to be going on to stay on that dirt.
$12.20 for Battle Station. Certainly one that you're going to hear more about in the future. Meanwhile, to Koffel for Kieran McLaughlin, Shadwell Stable. Back in action this morning, working, breezed 47-3 as he preps for the Grade 1 Vosburg, a race that will tell his connections if he's going to be going on to the Breeders' Cup Sprint or not.
Well, if he behaves himself, he's a pretty talented horse, but he's probably going to be meeting some talented runners as well in the Vosburg. Big step for him. Like to see they're taking the shot.
He's got that. He's got those freaky performances in him, Andy. He could be very tough. Yeah. And I wonder if he's starting to figure things out. He finally put two races together. So this work is sharp. Is he a runoff horse? Is he going to be able to deal with a horse like Dreyfong maybe if he gets through his next race to the Breeders' Cup? That's
He's not going to do Dreyfong any favors in the Breeders'
no, that's
Cup
true.
Because he's got unstoppable speed. His last race was a 7-furlong race, so cutting back, that's going to help him.
Yeah, he'll be dangerous. Second in that Grade 1, Alan Jerkins. Here's assistant trainer Joe Lee on today's work.
He went 47-2, a half a mile and 47-2. Seemed to go off a little bit more relaxed than usual. Usually he wants to be a little headstrong, but he went off well, and he seemed to work great. Really? It's a Grade 1, so they don't give him away, so he'll have to earn it, whether he's in front or just laying off it. He only had 2 races when he ran in the Alan Jerkins. That was his second start since March, so could have needed it. I think back to 6 is probably up his alley. Just watch him get a bath, and he walked off great, so he looks good.
To Koffel back in action, Grade 1 Vosburg to come for him. Two-time Breeders' Cup Mile winner Lore also started out as a Derby prospect. He's a small part of Hall of Fame trainer Shug McGaughey's story. We'll have that for you coming up when we return on Belmont Park Live.
Shadwell Farm, home to world-class stallions, presents 2 young stars. Mo Heyman, undefeated 2-year-old, multiple graded stakes winner at 2 and 3. A dazzling son of Tappet, winner of his first 5 career starts, 4 in graded stakes. Grade 1 winner, Tamarcuz, winner of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. This son of Speightstown was a top international miler that earned over $1.8 million. Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish from a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Chromecast, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Everybody knows what we've been going through in Puerto Rico. Very, very bad situation. No lights, no water, no gas. A lot of people lost their home. if anybody can reach out and help, it would be great. Greatly appreciated. They're going through a very bad moment, and they'll be in trouble for probably 4 to 5 months without gas and electricity and water. So if anything that anybody that can do for them, it would be very appreciated. Hopefully that we could keep our family together and our friend in good shape. Thank you very much.
It's been a very difficult time, obviously, around parts of the U.S. and certainly in the Caribbean and Puerto Rico with what has happened with these natural disasters, including Hurricane Maria, that has left at least 6 people dead. Authorities hampered even in their ability to assess the damage because of continuing bad weather, and storm has knocked out power and even communications to try and get them back to being whole again, which is going to take a long, long time. They need your help. You can help through the Red Cross. Text 90999 to make an immediate $10 donation through the Red Cross to help those communities get back with all they have lost.
We lose our phone for 6 minutes, we go nuts. They're not going to have power for up to 6 months. Please help.
All right, we're going to get back to action here at Belmont Park. Second leg of this pick 4 is coming up. We're approaching the 10-minute mark to post here in this 7th race coming up. 6.5 furlongs on the main track. New York Bred's allowance optional 40 group. Let's check in now with Gabby Gaudet. A Paddock report brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future.
Thank you very much, Greg. And taking a look at the field, we'll start with the 6 Jewel Can Disco. This horse does look to be your favorite according to the doubles. And I think there's a couple of things that are going against him. One being the amount of other pace in here and his forward running style. And I also think that this is going to be a class test for him. Now, looking at him physically in the paddock too, there's not much size to him. So you just wonder how much pressure he can take before he folds up. And will he be the lone speed? I don't think so. There seems to be a lot more pace in this race too. So we'll see about the 6 Jewel Can Disco, but I just thought this was a really intriguing race as we go to the 2 Mr. Buff, who is coming in off of an April layoff. And I just caught up with John Kimmel and asked him about the layoff, and he said after his last race he came up with he had to get a knee chip removed, so that was the reason behind the layoff since April. But he said he started getting him back into training at the beginning of Saratoga, and he said he just came around so quickly and he was training so well that he's doing so well he can't not run him. But he did say that he's kind of using this race as a stepping stone to perhaps stretch him out back to the mile where he did get the victory last time out. And finally, we'll go with the 9 So Noted. And everybody knows, including Andy Serling, that I'm a big fan of So Noted, and I loved him last time out as well. Does he get the pace scenario that will develop that can come back to him as he is a closer? I thought that was going to be the case last time out, and it did not come to fruition. But you can't overlook the company lines and the horses that he's faced, like Coal Front, Takaffel, Built to Suit. These are quality stakes horses, and you know he's kind of an old veteran. I know he only has 10 starts, but he's a 5-year-old, and he doesn't look overwhelmingly great, but he doesn't look poor. So I do think that if the race sets up for him, he's definitely a contender, the 9 So Noted, guys.
Gabby, thanks. He's got a sharp drill coming in as well. Bullet 47 and 4 move that was the best of 96 in the morning. Let's get back to the favorite, though. Here's Jewel Can Disco as he tries to make it 3 in a row today.
Yeah, it's going to be much tougher for him. To me, he's a very dubious favorite. Obviously, he's a talented horse going for a good barn. But last time out, he was walking on the front end going 7 furlongs. He beat Heavy Metal, came back to win. Heavy Metal ran 3 buyer points lower with a perfect trip in his next start. And there's Jewel Can Disco just sort of waltzing on the front end, controlling the race. Now he's got to move up from non-winners of 1 to non-winners of 2 in a race where potentially Sudden Surprise the 5 and the 7 Rectify have extreme speed. So from a pace standpoint, it's going to be much tougher. And he's going to go through his conditions in 3 consecutive starts. He may do it, Paul, but as the favorite, I think he's a terrible gamble.
Yeah, I'm with you as in being a terrible gamble. Now, Heavy Metal beat a weaker field from an outside post last time, actually rating. Jewel Can Disco that day was good. The one thing I will give in this horse's corner is that was only the 2nd race off, you know, a layoff since October. But this is a tougher field. He's going to have to do it with Rectify in his face. Somebody, Sky, the 3, Runaway Loot, Sudden Surprise. There's so many horses in here that have pace. This horse is going to have to learn to rate quickly.
You would think even around here he won't find it as easy on the front end as he has in past races.
Meanwhile, Mr. Buff, we heard from Gabby about John Kimmel saying how well this horse is doing, and this is obviously for a setup to get him back to going longer, but always a positive when you hear your horse is doing well.
Yeah, I don't think he has a problem sprinting this horse. His race on January 13th and finished third was an exceptional effort. That was a big inside speed bias in a tough field, and he was way against it with trouble. Yeah, he got better going longer, but he got better getting better trips. Mr. Buff, he might need the race, but he's good.
No, he's good. And what I do like, if you look at some of his races, he's sort of been engaged at the top of the lane. You look at other horses in here that are maybe cutting back in distance. They're not like him. So I think he can stay close enough. And the 6.5 furlongs might help his closing punch. He's not really closing. He's just grinding away and winning this race. I think he's a good play. I can't believe he's 9-1.
He's very, very usable. The board is saying he's going to need a race. I'm going to be surprised if he doesn't run well in here.
9-1. There's a look at him. Son of friend or foe. Meanwhile, so noted for Charlie Baker, two-time winner here at Belmont Park, and he's all the way down to 5-1 on the board.
Yeah, I kind of like this horse a little bit today. This is the first time he's been in a race that features an honest-to-goodness pace. He really has been compromised by the racetrack, the way it's played. Look at the Koffel race, an inside speed track, much better horses. I think he just makes a lot of logical sense near. 5-1's a little low side, but I think he's a big-time player.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. The horse was 20-1 in the morning line. Was not going to happen. What ended up happening, this horse got gelded right after the good start on July 9th. And the races have not been in his favor. Cold Front ran off, like Andy said. Tackable just ran off. He had no chance to run those horses down. He needs a contentious pace against this type of field. And Nick Juarez, you see aboard, talking about his new agent, Ronnie Anderson, who's handling his and Joel Rosario's book. You've seen a lot of Nicky Juarez horses that Joel used to ride.
Here comes our post-bred. We start with Runaway Loot, trained by Gary Contessa and Javier Castellano aboard.
Gets a switch to Javier and should be forwardly placed. Ran well enough to compete two back, but not last time.
He's 2 for 3 here at Belmont. Here's the 3, Samadhi Sky, Robert Barbera and John Velasquez.
Came off a 4-month layoff last time to be a solid second with a good trip last time out. A horse that's capable of being a player.
4-horse West Hills Giant. Off the claim here with Angel Arroyo, again looking for win number 1,000.
I know it says Rob Atras in the trainer, but this is a claim back for Robertino Diodoro, so maybe could be dangerous here.
So look at Sudden Surprise, off the claim for Brad Cox with Luis Saez.
Off the claim has to improve dramatically to win.
Mr. Buff, Mike Luzzy, John Kimmel, off since April at Aqueduct.
9-1 seems a little high for a horse that's looking to cross the line 3 times in a row. Got DQ 2 back.
Jewel Condisco, current 5-2 favorite, trying to make it 3 wins in a row. Joel Rosario aboard.
This is another horse that's on a nice little win streak, looking for 3 in a row, but he's going to have to deal with a lot of other pace in here.
Like Rectify. Here's the 7, Rider Change, Rajiv Mirage for David Canizzo.
Which Rectify will show up? The one that has a lot of speed or the one that we saw last time? If the speedy one shows up, he is a player.
Second off the claim with Gary Siaka for Jet Black. Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard.
This horse is a long shot at 13-1. The one thing you can't like, all 3 career wins here at Belmont.
And one of 2 in here for Charlie Baker. Here he's so noted with Nick Juarez.
Will he finally get the pace he needs to run his best race? If he does, he has a big chance.
And the other Charlie Baker runner, Giant in the Moonlight, son of Giant's Causeway with Dylan Davis.
Ran well at 7 furlongs off a layoff last time, a long layoff to be second. This is tougher, but he has a chance in a price.
What's your bet going to look like here?
I'm going to bet the 9 to win. $20 to win, the number 9 horse, so noted. I'm going to make a $5 exacta box, 249. I don't know what happened to my exacta box, but I wanted to box 249 in this race as well. Think the 4 has a chance in this race, think the 2 has a chance.
16-1 shot you're throwing in there with the 4 West Hills Giant. Okay. 3 minutes of post, quick break, and we will be back. Disco, is it back? Trying to make it 3 in a row for Joel Disco. Coming up here in race 7.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Este año Mike Lucy tenía rato que no ganaba Mike Lucy, sin embargo ya rompió el maiden el día de ayer, puede buscar de obtener victoria el día de hoy con este número 2, Mr. Buff. Número 2, así que ahí tienen esta opción en esta carrera para la Superfecta, un ejemplar que lo ha hecho muy bien en sus 2 últimas actuaciones, así que Mr. Buff, número 2, para estar decidiendo la prueba. 2 minutos nos separan de la partida y preguntemos a nuestro amigo Luis Alberto Graninson qué le agrada en esta séptima del programa. Luis.
¿Cómo no, Darwin? Este ejemplar número 6 que está mencionando está subiendo de agrupación. Atraviesa por excelentes condiciones, pero la agrupación cada vez se le está poniendo más difícil, como se dice. El ejemplar está ganando bien. Joel Rosario lleva 2 victorias hoy. Gary Gullo lo tiene en excelentes condiciones. Pero yo estoy contigo de que voy a dar algunos ejemplares que creo que lo pueden derrotar hoy, como es el caso del ejemplar número 9, Sono, que tiene un excelente tro de 47, Charles, especialista en sorprender.
Back on Belmont Park Live, getting set for race 7. Coming up, they're about to break from the gate here in just a few moments. Want to remind everyone, if you're a Naira Bets customer and you're playing at Laurel Park today, hit a trifecta at Laurel. You split 500,000 Naira Bets points. Laurel Park 500-point promotion available every Friday in September on Naira Bets. And again, all you need to do is hit a trifecta in any race at Laurel Park today. Check out all the promotions this month on NairaBets.com. Back to this 7th race in a horse that Andy used part of his trifecta play here, who is a big price at 16-1, West Hills Giant.
Yeah, exactly. But his race 2 back for these connections. Don't forget, the trainer, Robert Ross's deputized for Robert Diodoro, was good enough to win this race. He was very aggressive in a race where the pace fell apart. It was a mile of 16. He's a sprinter. I know. He's 1 for 24 lifetime in the dirt with 6 seconds and 10/3. It's not a win machine, to say the least. But this horse has races on the dirt, sprinting. They're good enough to make him a factor in here, and he's a crazy price, Paul. Got to use him.
I like the claim back. I always was a guy that loved a claim back. When you're a trainer and you have a horse for 1 race and you're trying to experiment, and it was maybe one of the better races on the horse's form, he went right back in, dipped in and got this horse and laid the horse up. I get what Andy's saying at 1 for 24. It's tough to endorse an 0 for 18, but I think it's a horse you can definitely use underneath in here.
And I'll tell you, turf to dirt move might wake him up a little bit. Absolutely at a big number. There's a look at the 7 Rectify again. Going to put pressure on Jewel Condisco right next door, you would think.
He can only win if he gets clear of the lead. Now, that's possible because he's got some racers very fast, but he's going to have to show that speed. He's a little bit inconsistent.
He's very inconsistent. You're right. He's the type of horse that if he's in front by himself and no one pressures him, the race is over. He can run a big one, but he gets intimidated when you challenge him.
And Samadhi Sky, the 3, 6-1, had that last race, been at 6.5. Who knows? Might have won that race.
Listen, he's a talented runner. He's got races fast enough, and he's second off a layoff.
Here we go. Leg 2 of this pick 4. It's Jewel Condisco, the 6. Looking to make it 3 consecutive victories and stay perfect here in his 3-year-old campaign. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing for the call, Larry Colmes.
Sudden surprise in Jet Black just taking their positions in the starting gate. So Noted will be the next one to come out. And he will be followed into line by Giant in the Moonlight, who will take the outside stall. 2-1 right now on Jewel Condisco. Joel Rosario looking for his 3rd win today. As Giant in the Moonlight and Dylan Davis step up to the outside stall. And go in. They're all in line. They're off. And it's Sudden Surprise who comes out quickly with Jewel Condisco alongside. Rectify is right behind them. And then comes Mr. Buff on the inside away running in 4th. Samadhi Sky is 5th up the backstretch. Then Jet Black on the outside of Runaway Loop. West Hills Giant between those 2. Giant in the Moonlight and So Noted at the back. Jewel Condisco, Rectify, and Mr. Buff. These 3 across the track through a 22.70 opening quarter mile. Samadhi Sky Sky follows in fourth, going a bit wide on the far turn. Outside of Sudden Surprise and Runaway Loot, who's down at the rail. West Hills Giants 5 lengths off the lead. Then Jet Black to the outside. The Trader So Noted and Giant in the Moonlight. They're making their way toward the top of the stretch. The half was 45.82 seconds. Jewel Can Disco, Rectify, Mr. Buff on the inside. Runaway Loot right behind them. Somali Sky comes up there 4 wide. Then Sudden Surprise, So Noted's trying to make a bid. And West Hills Giant on the far outside. It is wide open as they come to the final 16th. Sudden Surprise in front. West Hills Giant closing on the outside. Down toward the inside, it's Mr. Buff. Sudden Surprise has the lead. Mr. Buff, West Hills Giant, So Noted down to the line. Mr. Buff bobbing heads with Sudden Surprise. It's very close. Very close for the win. Then a photo between So Noted and West Hills Giant in 1:17.55.
I don't know. This was awfully close. It's going to take a photo of the 5 Sudden Surprise. The 2, Mr. Buff.
5 got it.
Outside.
Ugh. Oh, that's terrible beat, Paul. You liked him. We both knee in the picks.
Yeah, we did.
How did this horse run this race?
Mike Luzzy did a great job of the 2. He got forced in the inside, and he really had nowhere to go. If he lays back off the pace, he knows he has a 1-pace horse, and the 2 stayed 1 pace. You got to give the 5 a little bit of credit. He sort of backed off the duel and re-rallied a little bit.
5 ran giant. I don't know where the race came from, but off the claim for Brad Cox, he ran big. 1-3-4, 2-3-4 in the exacta. This was a crushing beat.
Wow. And we'll look at this finish here again. But Mr. Buff, could he hang on? I mean, just a giant race from this horse.
Best race he's ever run in his career by a mile off the claim for Brad Cox. Got to give Brad Cox a lot of credit to get this horse to run this race. Wow.
And you know, the other horse in here, your 4 West Hills Giant started lugging in just a tiny bit. He got tired late. He was rolling. Wow, you know what? The 2 got by him again at the wire. The 5 might have only been in front right at the wire. This is very tight.
Yeah, 5 is.
5-2-4-9 unofficially posted. 10-1 on Sudden Surprise. He was coming off back-to-back wins, but certainly this was the toughest test of that trio of victories. But this is a horse who just loves to find the wire. 10 wins now in 18 career starts.
Yeah, off the claim, you know, like...
His last race would have made him last in this race.
Yeah,
I don't know where this race came from.
He's 4 for 4 now at the distance, but, you know, Wolfie makes a good point. Rather classes now 10 for 18. Sometimes they just learn how to win, you know?
This horse ran for Brad Cox. This was a significant improvement off the Saratoga races.
If you had... You're not Mr. Buff anymore. You're Mr. Deflated.
We're going to take a break. His Hall of Fame careers included some unforgettable thoroughbreds, including the great easy goer, Shug McGay. He reflects on how it all started when we come back.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NyraBets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NyraBets, racing's best play.
The world's #1 sire of 2-year-olds, Warfront, continues to command top prices with yearlings this year, bringing up to $1.9 million. On the tracks, Warfront has sired recent Grade 1 winner Avenge, Grade 1 victors Brave Anna, and graded stakes winning juveniles in France, England, and Ireland, Roly Poly, War Decree, and Intelligence Cross. A leading sire on all fronts, from Paris, Kentucky to Paris, France. Claiborne Farms, Warfront.
En breve el oficial. $23.60 ganador, la exacta 144.75, la dupleta 72.50. Trifecta 50, 621.50, la super a 10, $775, el pool de 3, 285. La próxima, la octava, retirado, el 2 y el 7 retirado, 2 y 7 retirado. Exacta da 50, super a 10.
Back on Belmont Park Live in a photo finish here in this second leg of the late pick four. Sudden surprise, just barely getting up for the score. First off the claim win for trainer Brad Cox.
Yeah, congratulations to Connections. Giant surprise out of the More Than Ready mare. Ready and good. And by the way, talking about back class, this horse got $600,000 in the bank, and he's only 4.
Nice to be in New York, Fred.
Yeah.
Trifecta for 50 cents, $621.50. Aboard for the winning ride, Luis Saez. He's standing by with Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. And I think this was the first time that Luis Saez was aboard and a winning effort here. And Luis, go back to the backstretch. This horse, he kind of broke sharply, but what happened that he sucked out of position early on?
Well, I was checking the replays, and he looked like he got a little move. So I know I have a lot of speed, you know, in the race. And I break and I sit and I make a one run with him. So when he came to the stretch, he made that little move, but I thought I'm gonna get beat, so I just keep trying, and thanks God he win the race.
And with those tight finishes, especially a tight finish that we saw today, did you think you had it, or did you think you might have lost it?
Yes, I had a feel I had it, because I don't know, when I see the wire and I thought I was in front, but when I come back and I see the replay, I say, oh, that was tight, so thanks God we got it.
Well, you made it back to the winner's circle. Congratulations, Luis.
Thank you so much, Gabby.
All right, getting in the winner's circle there was Sudden Surprise, a surprising effort, kind of closing from off the pace today, guys.
Yeah, this horse usually much more forwardly placed just about every race in his career. As you take a look at the jockey standings, and Javier Castellano, Irad Ortiz Jr., and Luis Saez, the top 3 right now.
Yeah, Javier's been riding very well. I mean, obviously, with Jose Ortiz being out this week and traveling a lot, things are different, but Javier back on top.
Well, Shug McGahee, we're going to see him in action in the next race coming up with All In Fun. Of course, Orb now standing at Claiborne Farm, his Kentucky Derby winner back in 2013, stands for $25,000, part of that outstanding stallion lineup. Now the Claiborne roster. And in 2013, wet, muddy afternoon at Churchill Downs under the Twin Spires. And Orb, this was a popular win in the industry for a native Kentuckian, Shug McGahee. And a Kentucky bred here with Orb finally being able to add a Kentucky Derby to a Hall of Fame resume. Well, it was 7 years into his training career that a partnership would change everything for him. Here's another edition of I Am.
I am Shug McGahee.
Orb has won the Kentucky Derby for Shug McGahee.
And I am a trainer. I never really was a big guy in school. I never did really catch on to that part of it. But when I went to the track, I was seeing all this new stuff every day. You know, I never wanted to leave. You know, I'd get there in the morning, I wanted to stay all day. I wanted to be there when the blacksmith was there, the vet was there. And I was just a hot walker at that time. But I was fascinated by the whole thing. I had quite a few horses. I had them at 2 or 3 different places, and I wasn't comfortable with that. I made up my mind that I was going to try to get maybe the best 15 or 20 I had and come to New York and then try to build up around that. You know, then I got the phone call from the Phippses. They said, when are you going to be back in New York when we can talk? And I was back for the Jockey Club Gold Cup, which I'm going to say was October the 5th, 1985. You know, I was petrified, and I was going to meet this icon of not only society, but of horse racing and this and that. And, you know, I was just some little guy from Kentucky.
It's Van Landingham in front.
Well, then I won the Gold Cup that afternoon. He presented the trophy. So, you know, like the first of the week and stuff, we came to terms and just sort of evolved from that.
To the 16th of a mile from the wire. Winning Colors is there. Personal Legend, a dramatic finish, and here is the wire, and it is Personal Legend there with Winning Colors.
Great race. I thought she was hopeless to beat the 3/8 pole. It shows what a good filly she is to be able to overcome it and win.
I can't remember about the pressure, but I know we got back up here and everything went right.
Easy Goer gets clear by 4. Sunday Silence remains in second.
He loved this racetrack with the big turns.
It's New York's easy goer in front.
And then not everything went right with Sunday Silence. It not only gave me my first Classic winner, but also gave Mr. Phipps his, so it was quite a thrill. Inside Information was a filly that always surprised me because it was heavily prized at the same time.
The response was devastating. Inside Information. Whoa, look at this! A colossal victory! And Heavenly Prize, her stablemate, will be second.
Lure was an exceptionally talented and exceptionally fast horse. We took him down to Florida for the Breeders' Cup, and he was there for like 2 weeks. And it was just every day he was getting better and better. And when I saw him in the paddock that day at Gulfstream, I said, my God, look at this.
Lure running a huge race this afternoon. He's in front by 4. Look at this time. He destroyed the track record. 1 minute 32 and 4/5 seconds. What an effort by Lure.
I always thought I would like to win the Kentucky Derby and get it over with so I didn't have to worry about it anymore. But I would have never, if I'd have won it in the 80s, you know, it would not have meant as much to me as it did when I did win it.
Orb has won the Kentucky Derby for Shug McGee.
Like Lynn Whiting told me, he said, Shug, it doesn't wash off, and he's right. It doesn't wash off. Sometimes I'll be thinking, I can't believe I won the Derby. Hold on, Angel. Don't go anywhere. There it was, knocking on the door.
It's been an incredible career for Shug McGahee, Hall of Famer, and those silks. Stuart Janney helped get him a Kentucky Derby back in 2013 with Orb, and they will team up with All in Fun coming up in the 8th race next. As you get a look at Shug right there.
I love watching that video. All those Shug horses. I mean, Van Landingham. I remember when Shug first showed up in Saratoga in the mid-'80s, and he had Last Trump win the test, and Van Landingham, just one of the greatest trainers in the history of the game.
And always gives you time. Great storyteller, by the way. Great storyteller, Shug.
We're going to take a break of the action. Can his All in Fun get him another win for Stuart Janney here in this 8th race? We'll find out in just a little bit.
The graded stakes winning son of Bernardini is off to a sensational start at stud. Among the leading freshman sires by winners in graded stakes horses, his first crop 2-year-olds commanded prices up to 36 times his stud fee. Leading progeny include TD and Rising Star Recruiting Ready, second in the Bashford Manor Stakes, and stakes place performer Junket. The pedigree, speed, and class to become the next star in this sensational sire line. Algorithms at Claiborne Farm.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NyraBets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NyraBets, racing's best play.
We're back on Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus and Fox Sports Ohio. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Thanks for spending part of your Friday afternoon with us here as we get set for race 8 coming up here at Belmont. You can play along from home. Get signed up, started with Naira Bets. If you bet 100 in your account, you'll get 100 by using the promo code LIVE. You can play with Naira Bets, get signed up and started all across the country. Again, use that promo code LIVE to take advantage of that offer. This 8th race, 6 furlongs on the inner turf, $100,000 allowance optional claiming race, and right now it is Ancient Secret for Chad Brown, who is the 9-5 favorites in the race. Well, 2-1, I should say right now. But we're going to start elsewhere. We're going to start with Port McGee, who is the morning line favorite. Rider change will be John Velasquez aboard Port McGee, one of 2 in the race for Christophe Clement.
The advantage she has is she is the controlling speed, a stakes winner in 2017. The question for you, Paul, is what happened to her last time and how confident are you she'll bounce back from that race?
You know, you make a good point there because when you go back to her other 5 furlong races, she was able to rate. She beat Blue Bahia and Scuba Stu, excuse me, who are very nice fillies. So last time she broke a little, so maybe she just got rushed up and she just went away. Now she's got the sidelines. Johnny V will be aboard. It's a good question. Maybe she needs the lead.
With more on Port McGee, we're going to check in with Gabby Gaudette for our Paddock Report, brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future. Gabby?
Well, guys, I don't really know what happened to her last time out at Suffolk. That's definitely a big question mark. She did have some trouble coming out of the gate, but as you guys were mentioning, she had success rating before. So I don't know what to make of that last race. Today, she's accompanied by the pony, getting the saddle on, but she's been behaving incredibly well, and she looks fantastic in the flesh. She's just showcasing an excellent coat. She looks a picture of health as well, so we'll see. I mean, maybe that was just a subpar performance, and she's had a couple of months to recuperate from it, but I do think that she will be the main speed, and like I said, she looks great in the paddock for Christophe Clement. Now, the other Christophe Clement runner is the 6 Stormy Victoria, and she has a lot of experience going a distance of ground, but I actually don't mind her on the cutback in distance. If you look at some of her 7/8 performances, she had a nice potent kick, and maybe the added distance has taken that away from her a little bit. She's really rounded out behind the saddle. To me, she looks more of a sprinter than a miler, so we'll see what she can do off of the layoff as well. But of the Clement horses, I do, of course, prefer the 3 Port McGee. And finally, the 5 Ancient Secret. This is a filly, too, that actually cut back in distance last time out. And to me, I don't really have a lot of experience in how she's behaved or acted in the paddock before. This is really the first time that I'm witnessing her. I hope that she picks up her energy levels once we get to the track, because to me, she's just been very docile, low-key in the paddock. So we'll definitely check in on her as she goes postward here later. But the 5 Ancient Secret, again, coming out for trainer Chad Brown.
And she is favored right now. Thank you, Gabby. She actually started out her career 4 consecutive victories for trainer Chad Brown, including the Lake George. She came back at Saratoga this year. Well, she continued along, I should say. Wound up 2nd via disqualification.
The question in this race is, do you want horses that have proven success sprinting like the 3 Port McGee and the 5 Ancient Secret, or do you want horses like the 6 and 8 who are talented, but they're not necessarily competent going 6 furlongs? In my experience over time, you're better off staying with the sprinters. And I wondered a bit if Ancient Secret had trouble getting her legs under on the track with a lot of give in it last time, because she got there and didn't finish, Paul, and just seemed like, to me, she couldn't really gather herself, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, she's trying, right? And when the other horse comes up to her, she swaps to the wrong lead. Now, watch, she's going to get steadied a little bit, but she sort of got beat to that spot. Now, when she'd have been 2nd best that day, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so.
She got placed 2nd, but she wasn't going to be 2nd.
Yeah, she wasn't going to be. Now, she's going to have to show a little bit more kick, but you got to give her a little bit of credit. She hadn't been out in a while, and it was her first time on a cutback. So she might, the 6 furlongs might be a little bit better today for her.
The other question with her is whether or not she's ever going to get back to the horse that she was as a 3-year-old, because since the Lake George, she has been disappointed.
No, that's the big question mark, certainly with Ancient Secret so far. In 5 starts since that time, the answer has been no. Meanwhile, The other Christophe Clement runner, proven over this turf course at Belmont. That is Stormy Victoria, the 6th, and Joelle Rosario will be aboard.
I don't doubt her talent. She did win at 7 furlongs, overcoming a slow pace here last year. But there's a big difference between 7 furlongs and 6 furlongs. Listen, if somebody likes her, I'm not going to knock them for betting her. She's good enough to win it. But, Paul, in my experience, the horses that are proficient sprinting dominate these races over horses cutting back in distance. The ones at 6 furlongs, not necessarily 7.
7 furlongs. Well, if you look at this mare, her best races are at Belmont. Bottom line. Good race, first time here in the U.S., she wins. She comes back, 7 furlongs, wins. She runs second to Rocco Rojo, who would be, 1 to 5 in here.
At 6 furlongs?
Yeah, not at 6 furlongs, but at something else. But you make a point as in the horse might not. If this race is 7 furlongs, the horse would be even money, and I think the horse to beat. 6 furlongs, I agree with you a tiny bit, but I think she's going to be dangerous late here. But that's if somebody goes with Port McGee. Port McGee's able to cut 46 for the first flash. We just saw the turf 7 furlong race go 120, Wolfie. They got to be able to push this filly or she's gone.
Oh, meanwhile, that 8 horse, that's the Shug McGahee runner for Stuart Janney, those silks. And I assume, and if you don't like Stormy Victoria, you don't like another horse cutting back.
I don't like all in fun. I like her as a racehorse. In fact, I think she's the best horse in this race. In fact, I don't have much doubt
at this
that she
distance,
is.
you don't like her.
Shug McGahee does so many things well, but one thing he's had very little success is cutting back from routes to sprints and turf races, where he's a 7% trainer with a very low ROI. And she's good, but she's not. At least the 6 horse has some experience and success at 7 furlongs. This horse hasn't never gone below a mile. Not for me cutting back, much as I think she's good.
Or the only time she did sprint once. She didn't hit the board.
Yeah, I think she is the most talented horse in this race. I just don't think she's the most talented at 6 furlongs.
Here's Discreet Senorita to kick off our post parade. David Jacobson, second off the claim, and Joe Bravo rides.
Well, the pick 6 is already in danger of not being hit after sudden surprise. It won't be hit. And it'll be a 3-day carryover. Discreet Senorita wins.
Here's the 4 horse, Miss Hollywood, Abel Castellano trainee with Nick Juarez.
They try the turf for the first time, this 5-year-old mare, and hopefully her speed can translate to the turf course.
22 to 1 on Miss Hollywood. We backtrack to the 3 Port McGee, 1 of 2 in here for Christophe Clement, and again John Velasquez aboard.
Needs to bounce back after an uncharacteristically poor performance at Suffolk last time. Her prior 2 efforts and her speed make her the horse to beat in a lot of ways.
She is the favorite right now. Here is Chad Brown's Ancient Secret, and Irad Ortiz Jr. rides.
Can she get back to her best form? She did win sprinting in her career. Is she going to be proficient at it today?
Tango Uniform and the Elkstone group send out Stormy Victoria, another Christophe Clement runner with Joelle Rosario.
Yeah, this grade really loves Belmont. Both wins or 2 wins here, a 2nd and 3rd from 4 starts.
And all in fun for Stuart Janney and the Hall of Famer Shug McGahee with Javier Castellano.
Yeah, the couple of fillies and mares that she's been behind the last couple times, Grand Chate, world-class type of horses, bar of gold, but is sprinting really her game.
Approaching the 4-minute mark to post for race 8 here at Belmont. Port McGee could be long gone. Can anybody catch her in this race coming up? We will find out when we return on Belmont Park Live. Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish from a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Chromecast, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Hacer su propio paso. Sin embargo, creo que ya llegó la hora de que esta número 5, Asi en Secret, comience a demostrar lo que ella es, porque yo la tengo como una de los mejores. Esta yegua de Chad Brown debutó y estuvo invicta hasta en 4 presentaciones. Luego se la llevaron al hipódromo de Woodbine a correr una carrera de grado con el Jockey Hernández. La yegua después de esta carrera, más nunca, o sea, no ha vuelto a ganar después de esta carrera, y nosotros creemos realmente que esta número 5, Asi en Secret, hoy se tiene que reivindicar, hoy se tiene que reencontrar con la victoria y va a ser nuestra primera opción. Por Maggie prácticamente le sucedió lo mismo. Por Maggie venía en gran forma, perdió en un grado 3 a tan solo 3/4 del cuerpo, pero luego se la llevan al hipódromo de Suffolk Down y la yegua llega última, mejor dicho, corriendo tan solo 5 ejemplares, llegó en el último lugar. Por esta razón, nosotros la indicamos como nuestra segunda opción en esta prueba porque también queremos ver cómo regresa de allá del hipódromo de Suffolk Down. Lo cierto es que ella tiene tiempo trabajando aquí en el hipódromo de Belmont. Sin embargo, esa última actuación me deja como una cierta duda. Y la número 6, Stormy Victoria. Número 6, la que monta Joel Rosario para la cuadra de Christophe Clement.
Back on Belmont Park Live, getting set for race 8 here. 2 minutes to post at Belmont. After the races, you can keep playing at home with Naira Bets with some serious bonuses on California racing at Los Alamitos. If you hit the early pick 4, starting in the opener, you get a 10% winner's bonus. Stand for a 500-point all split. Just place a $10 base exacta on the 5th, and win or lose, you'll split 500,000 points. Get your evening started with Los Alamitos bonuses at Bet Nationwide with NairaBets.com. As we take a look here, Andy again at Port McGee.
Yeah, of course, Jose Ortiz was supposed to be riding Port McGee, and Jose had that spill here on Wednesday. Got his results, just heard from his agent, Jimmy Riccio. Results of his MRI sound pretty good. The knee is bruised, so it's a good thing they've taken a little time off. They have a doctor's appointment early next week and are hoping to be back riding by Wednesday or Thursday. So it sounds like really good news overall for Jose. We wish him a speedy recovery and look forward to him being back.
Yeah, great to hear that. Can't wait to see him back here on the track. In the meantime, with more on Port McGee, and now John Velasquez aboard. Let's go to Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. And I got the chance to catch up with Christophe Clement on the walk out to the track, and I asked him what happened at Suffolk last time out, and he said he didn't really know what happened to Port McGee, but he said that she does have a propensity to have an adverse reaction to the heat, and he said that it was a really hot day on that particular day, so maybe that's when she just fell apart. But after that race, he said he took her to the farm, he turned her out, gave her some time to be a horse, and she's really responded well to that. And like I said, she looks fantastic in the flesh. Now, talking about the likely other pace in the race would be the 4, Miss Hollywood, for Abel Castellano. But I see a big difference in a horse that shows speed at 7/8 in the mile versus a turf sprinter. And to me, she's really on her toes. She looks like high energy on the track too, but she doesn't look like a turf sprinter. So I just don't know if that speed is going to translate. We could see Port McGee just be loose on the lead here today. And I did mention briefly the 5 Ancient Secret, who might have been a little bit on the docile side in the paddock, but guys, she perked up really nicely when she hit the track.
All right, Gabby, thank you. So good news in terms of Port McGee, how she has looked warming up and with Ancient Secret. And there is Chad Brown's filly, daughter of Ken Tharos. She was so brilliant early on in her career. Started out with 4 consecutive wins, yet to find the winner's circle in 5 starts since.
She is dead on the board at 3-1. She should never be third choice behind the 3 and 6 here.
Yeah, I'm surprised a little bit. I think she's going to run a bigger race today, but there you see the selections. I look at the one first-time turf horse here, and I just, because pace-wise, I'm hoping that her speed can translate to the turf. She loves to win races. We saw a horse in the last race surprise us a little bit. A horse that likes to win races. The one is 9%. 16 lifetime.
And 12-1 on the 9. You saw the Shug McGahee runner there in the background. All in fun. Hall of Famer trying to get yet another win. They've had so many together, teaming up with Stuart Janney over the years, including that Kentucky Derby victory with Orb back in 2013. And to get the win here, it will require a cut back in distance.
Yeah, you know, it's just, you've seen it. I used to love I love turnbacks. And when we first started running these turf sprints, I thought, oh, turnbacks are great in the dirt. They're going to be really great in the turf. And I found out over time it was a horrible plan. Turf sprints are very specific. You can be a top-class turf sprinter and not affect going long, and vice versa.
It's true. So true.
3-2 now on Port McGee for Christophe Clement. Let's send it upstairs for the call to Larry Colmus.
And they're all in line. Ready for a start.
Todos listos.
They're off. Port McGee is going out to the early lead. Ancient Secret broke well, will be second early. Then it's All in Fun on the outside, followed by Miss Hollywood. And down toward the inside, Discreet Senorita. Last of them all is Stormy Victoria, and she's 5 lengths off of Port McGee, who leads them up the backstretch. All in Fun goes up on the outside. Miss Hollywood between those two. Ancient Secret taken back off the pace outside of Discreet Senorita. They're 3 behind and just ahead of Stormy Victoria through a 22.43 quarter. Into the turn, Port McGee from Miss Hollywood. And right to their outside, it's All in Fun. 2.5 to Ancient Secret together with Discreet Senorita, who's on the inside. And still on hold is Stormy Victoria at the back of the pack as they come toward the top of the stretch. The half in 44.69. They're into the stretch. Port McGee and Miss Hollywood. These two right together on the lead, a furlong out. Here comes Stormy Victoria, who's charging up on the far outside. All in Fun is next, but Stormy Victoria is full of run down the center of the course and goes from last to first under Joel Rosario to win it by a length and a half. Miss Hollywood was second, then Port McGee and Ancient Secret in a really quick time, 107.04.
Yeah, blazing fast time. It's the other Christophe Clement runner who comes from off the pace to get the win, Stormy Victoria, and a 30-to-1 shot, running a huge effort here.
No question about it. Miss Hollywood, she dueled Port McGee in defeat and still managed to beat her, so you can't knock her for going after Port McGee, but maybe they ended up setting it up for the other Christophe Clement runner is Joel Rosario. Nobody more patient than him, and she just rolled by on a very firm turf course.
That's a confident win by a 5-to-2 shot. Watch Joel just reel out. He made a good point about the forerunner of Giant Race. She ran her a pedigree. Her mama was a flat-out runner on the dirt. Sometimes they just run better on the turf. And Miss Hollywood, I would guess, is not going to go back on dirt. She ran a Giant Racer. But you're right. Look at Joel. He wins more races like this, where he just puts away the stick and just goes by.
Yeah. 17/100ths off the course record, by the way.
This turf course is starting to speed up big time again.
It's got very, very firm. Now, keep in mind, this is not the same turf course that the 7-furlong race. That was the Widener. This race was running the inner turf course. This course might be even firmer. This was a good performance, though.
6, 4, 3, 5, 5-2 over 30-1. And after Christophe Clement's pace setter backs up a bit, his other filly, or mare, I should say, gets the money here with Stormy Victoria prices. When we come back, we're going to take a break in the action. And the truckload arriving for Big Race Bob, invading Philadelphia with West Coast. And Kentucky Oaks winner Abel Tasman for the Pennsylvania Derby and the Cotillion. We'll preview both races when we come back.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record-breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off.
Los Alamitos Racecourse congratulates all of the connections of Los Alamitos Derby winner West Coast for his sensational victory in the Grade 1 Travers Stakes at Saratoga. Since our first meet in 2014, many of the top stars in thoroughbred racing have raced at Los Alamitos. Who will be next? Join us for the Los Alamitos Fall Thoroughbred Meet. Opening day is Thursday, September 7th.
Rosario. Ahí viene Christopher Clement, ¿eh? A buscar la fotografía de recuerdo hoy. 7.80 ganador, la exacta 83.50, la dupleta 58.25, la trifecta 175.75, la super devuelve 110, el pool de 3 222.50, el Grand Slam pagó $135. La próxima carrera, la última exacta trifecta de 50, super a 10. En la última carrera hay 2 cambios. El 5, el 7, el 13 y el 15 retirado. Irá Cortiz en el 6, John Velázquez en el 10.
Back on Belmont Park Live, and Joel Rosario on Stormy Victoria for Christophe Clement. Now 3 for 5 on this turf course at Belmont.
Really an impressive performance by her. Nice to be Christophe Clement and have that speed horse, and it turns out the best closer, and it worked out very well for him. I'll tell you, a non-effort by Ancient Secret.
Yeah.
She didn't take much money, but she ended up actually taking money late. She went to 9 to 5. Broke well, with good position, had nothing.
I'm going for it, Wolfie. The breeder, congratulations to Harris de Etraham.
Well done. 6-4-3 finish. Let's head downstairs to Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. And standing by with Christophe Clement. Had kind of a two-pronged attack going into this race, but a super impressive performance from your filly, Stormy Victoria. You were kind of mentioning before the race that this might be a race off of the layoff, but what do you do with her after that one?
When we go to better things, hopefully. She was impressive. I thought both fillies went well, but she loves Belmont Park, and she's always been, 6-7 furlongs. She's pretty tough on her.
And what was kind of going through your mind at the top of the stretch? It looked like Joel Rosario had a lot of horse underneath of him.
Yeah, I know, but she's got a very good turn of foot. She's always shown in the past that she had that kind of turn of foot, and I thought at the top of the lane that the other filly looked pretty good as well. So, they both went well.
Excellent efforts from both, and a big weekend for you as well. You're bringing Celestine back off the layoff in the Noble Damsel. What could you tell us about her last seen in the Just a Game?
She went a touch below form in the Just a Game. I thought the winner was extraordinary, amazingly impressive, and nobody would have beat that filly that day. I just thought Celestine probably was like a couple of lengths below best form. She had a break, and she's on the way back. I hope I've got it tight enough. It's a very good race tomorrow, short field. I've got to give a lot of weight to all of them. But except that, we'll try.
All right. Well, congratulations here, and best of luck with Celestine.
Thank you so much.
All right, Greg. Big weekend on tap for the Clement barn.
Yes, it is. It's going to be a tremendous card on Saturday. We certainly hope you join us and catch Belmont Park Live this weekend. A nice win here. Only when you win the race could you feel good about the effort of your horse who does not win as well.
And can you get away with those pants?
That's true. Only for Christophe Clement. Time for What's Trending. It is not those pants. It is actually Bob Baffert who is sending his contingent to Philly Park for the Pennsylvania Derby and the Cotillion. This from Eric Calais. Real Bob Baffert having fun this morning at Parks Racing. PA Derby, West Coast, Cotillion, Abel Tasman. Look out. And both these two looking to cement their status atop their respective divisions. And we're going to start with a look at West Coast.
Seems worried.
Paulie in the Pennsylvania Derby. He's reeled off 4 consecutive victories. Now, could he follow up a Grade 1 with yet another after that Travers win?
Listen, he was dominant in the Travers. He really was. Gunnevera took his best shot at him. So did IRAP. But Mike Smith outsmarted everybody. Went right to the front end and kept on going. Here's the thing. When Bob Baffert's horses get to the front end and they get leads like this, they tend not to stop. Is he going to prove to be the best 3-year-old? The blinkers have helped. And he's really grown bigger and stronger. And when Bob ships, he ships with a plan, the one to beat.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be a short price. We'll see what the tactics are on Saturday after Mike Smith switched them up and stole the money in the Travers. Very good group he's going to be facing, including Timeline for Chad Brown. IRAP getting another crack at him as well. And Irish Warcry, Wood winner, back in action for Grand Motion. Meanwhile, on the Philly side of things, with your Kentucky Oaks winner and Coaching Club American Oaks winner at Saratoga, Abel Tasman, Andy.
She's been sensational. In the absence of Unique Bella, she's just taken absolute control of this division and pretty much has a stranglehold. I think only Elate winning the Beldame next week and then beating her in the Breeders' Cup Distaff with a first or second place finish would have a sliver of hope of upsetting her. But with these three big Grade 1 wins, the Coaching Club, the Kentucky Oaks, and the Acorn as well, she has a huge lead for the championship. Having said that, I think it's a good day to take a small shot against her. Poor Salty draws outside. She can't get a break. I think that Moppetism is a long shot for Doug O'Neill. I think Lockdown's going to run well in here, and I think Actress is going to run well. I'm going to try a 2-3-6 box. How's that?
Remember we had Bob on, and we were talking about Abel Tasman, and he had said that, you know what, I think I'm going to trade maybe Abel Tasman up to the Breeders' Cup because I want to make her being fresh. Knowing Bob, Abel Tasman must be coming out of the stall. That's why he's running her. So that worries me a little bit. She could be tough.
She's a very good horse, and I'm not against her per se. I just think it's not a bad chance race to take a small shot against him. It's Parks, weird things happen.
Yeah, you make a good point because this isn't the goal. The goal is the Breeders' Cup for him, and that's what they want, especially for those connections. You know, understand this horse started in the Simon Callahan barn. Bob has changed this filly a little bit. He wants to win the Breeders' Cup for these people.
Make sure he brings the right silks.
If you think
that's true.
If you think this is maybe a chance to beat her, wait till you hear what Bob Baffert has to say here, who has some concerns that mile and a 16th, not her preferred distance.
I like a mile and an 8th for her. The being on the outside, she's going to have to, get some luck early in the first turn. But she has so much quality, this filly. So a lot of it, I just, on these good horses, I get them to a certain point, but you still, at the end of the day, you have to rely on their talent. They'll get you there. He's a horse that he's like Arrogate. It took him a while to come around. Unfortunately, I wish I could have had him ready for the Kentucky Derby and all those other races, but he's just slow coming around. But, just even winning the Travers was such a phenomenal race for Gary West and his team that, sometimes, it makes up for where you weren't earlier.
If her best race is best distance in the mile and 16th, how good is she then? I mean, you look at her resume. You brought it up as we were off air. I mean, she wanted a mile in the Acorn. Yeah. She can do it all.
She's a terrific horse. And I got to tell you something. You look at the horse that Bob has, the success he's had, there is an argument to be made, at least in the last 25 years or my lifetime of the track of 40 years, Bob Baffert might be the best dirt trainer I've ever seen. He's incredible.
I think he is hands down, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. I mean, the compliments that Woody Stevens, we've talked about this, Andy and I, never going to happen again, winning 5 straight Belmonts. Woody Stevens, Charlie Woodingham, guys like that. I mean, you can go on and on, but you're right. Bob Baffert, to me, is by far the best trainer there is out here. Dirt trainer, and you're right about Abel Tasman. This horse has made some wicked middle moves. The middle move last time, so I don't think the mile and 1/8, whatever bothers this horse.
As incredible as Bob Baffert has been, he's one of the great trainers of all time. This could be his best Breeders' Cup he's ever had, lining up to perhaps go that way for Baffert.
He's got some barn. He wins with fillies. He wins with colts. He wins with 3-year-olds and 2-year-olds and older horses. He wins going short. He wins going long. On the dirt, the man has no chink in his armor.
It's true. You're right.
Guess who else is reportedly training awfully well right now?
Arrogate? I heard he's a pretty good horse. Well, he's away from Delmar. He must be happy.
We're going to take a break in the action. We'll be back. Of course, the Kelso coming up here at Belmont this weekend. Tom's ready, part of an outstanding cast lined up for that race. You'll see it here on Saturday.
Chadwell Farm, home to world-class stallions, offers 2 successful stake sires. Brilliant Miler, Daher, a consistent source of quality. Daher is the sire of black-type winners coast to coast. Grade 1 winner and millionaire, Albertus Maximus, winner of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile and Don Handicap. He is now siring black-type horses across the U.S. and abroad. Chadwell Farm, building speed for the future.
watching Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus and Fox Sports Ohio. New York Racing Association, the leader in providing Spanish language content. Darwin Vizcaya and Luis Grandison give you pre-race analysis. It's all available on the NYRA Now app and all in HD. Here's Luis's call of the Easy Goer with West Coast on a huge day for Bob Baffert.
West Coast mantiene 4 cuerpos, 5 cuerpos, está galopando West Coast con Mike Smith, segundo está corriendo Who Play, West Coast con Mike Smith, está galopando el Easy Goer, gana West Coast con Mike Smith, el Easy Goer y Bob Baffert, segundo está arribando You Have to Play, tercero está arribando Hot Play, de cuarto está finalizando Jamming with Brendan.
Well, that was, of course, Bob Baffert wasn't in the big race that day on Belmont Day, but he swept the undercard races, 4 for 4, all those wins with Mike Smith.
Feels like he had a bit. It's a little hazy, but I think
stole
he
the story that day, and he wasn't even in the Belmont.
I think he was pretty good that day. He's pretty good.
Our nightcap coming up: 7 furlongs on the turf and a New York bred $40,000 maiden claiming in 4 to 5 on Surprise Surprise. New Canaan, the 6th.
This is not all the residents of New Canaan, Connecticut coming and betting their money. This is people who watched the last race and realized that off this horse's last race, in this field where on paper there's just, it's very hard after her to make a strong case for somebody. A clean trip, she wins.
Yeah, it is. The 9 is the other horse who they're betting. You know, not a great stat there for Linda Rice when she goes from cutting back a little bit, but I know it's going from route to sprint. But this was the trip last time, and it was bad. Try to get towards the rail right here and get stymied by the 12 horse, or the 2 horses sort of took that spot. Yeah, it was the 12 that ducked to the rail, and then boom, now the race is over. I mean, it's just, you can't really do much after that, especially when they're maiden 40s. I thought made another middle move, now goes long, gets rank again a little bit.
She had trouble at the start too, by the way. She had an awkward start at the break.
Yeah.
She got shuffled out at the start. She was wide early. This was an actual nightmare trip.
Yeah.
And she wasn't fit. I mean, she didn't just completely fall apart. She had a little run at the end. She's found the right field, a clean trip, and she's going to win.
Yes, that's the key. I mean, you're not looking at much here. Ton of trouble. You sort of don't know what you're getting yourself into. But when you look at the rest of this field,
should she be 4 to 5 though?
If she breaks, yes.
I honestly think she's probably supposed to be about even money here. I personally, listen, it's horse racing. Anything can happen. It's a big field. It's very hard to look through the paper and say, here's the chief competition, because nobody else has any good PPs.
And maybe that's more of the reason, indictment on the rest of this group, that she is such a short price. Time for Gabby Gaudette's Paddock Report, brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future. Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. And, well, we do have a heavy favorite in the 6th, New Canaan, and does turn back in distance for trainer Linda Rice. And Linda doesn't have great stats with maidens turning back on the turf, but not only is this filly facing a very manageable field here today, I also do think less distance the better. So it's going to be really tough to beat this horse, as you guys are mentioning. There's not a whole bunch of viable options in here, but we'll check in with a couple. And one of them is the 2 Nancys. Now, with the scratch of the 5 Sharp Lacey, who figured to be one of the main speeds in here, I think that actually makes her the main speed. And last time out, she made the first move into a pace that kind of came back to her. Today, I think she looks like a worthy foe. She's got good muscle tone to her. She clearly took a liking to the turf, sprinting last time out. Can she handle the 7/8 is the question. Will she just show speed and fade? But we're just trying to get creative with some other options. And one of those other options could be the 4 Passing Reminder. She just looks like a good-looking filly. She's healthy in the flesh. In her first start, she did 0 running, and I realized that. She was 70 to 1, but that was also against Maiden Special Weight Company. She's taking a drop in class, and maybe she needed the race. She did not get off to a great start in that debut as well. So right now, she's holding at odds of 14 to 1. Again, a main foe in the 6 New Canaan, but perhaps 2 fillies to take a look at, guys.
She's absolutely a player. I'm surprised she's 14 to 1.
You know, sharp handicappers I know like her. David Aragona, Mike Beer like this horse. They think that she had a trip in her first race. I watched it twice. I have no idea what they're talking about, but they're sharp guys.
70 to 1 first time out.
I don't see it. Big switch to Javier Castellano, though.
Yeah, meanwhile, the 9, this is Cetera at 6 to 1 on the board, and ran at New York bred, maiden 40 level last time out. That was at Saratoga at 5.5 and did hit the board, ran second, beat 2 lengths. That was at 25 to 1 as we take a look at that race, and as a result, taking some money today.
Yeah, the problem, it's a big rider change to Luis Saez. This is not impossible. Maybe it's the second likeliest winner, I guess. But the truth is, when you say that Cetera is the second likeliest winner, doesn't that just show you why the 6 is such a strong favorite?
Yeah, it does. This is the best race on paper, though. But when you look at the other horses that were behind, oof, not much. It really is not much. Sort of picking up the pieces as you looked at some of the other runners in there. You know, you look at Freckle to Freck, who I think has an outside look in here. 0 for 24 was 32-1. Jacqueline D, the 11, was 67-1. Cetera was 25-1. The 8 last time was 36-1. You can go on and on. The odds of these horses, they were all long shots, and now they're getting played a little bit today because the field's not good.
Let's talk about Freckle to Freck a little bit, because I got mad love for Freckle to Freck. I love the return to 7 furlongs. I know this horse ran 7 furlongs in May and didn't run well. That was off a 2.5-month layoff. I wonder if a one-turn might sort of help this horse. She's run races before going to Saratoga, those 2-turn races that were good enough to give her a chance in here, and I think make her the second likeliest winner. Maybe a return to Belmont in 1 turn. I don't love her, but she's a big price.
She's got her best 4 races are by far at Belmont. She runs one of those 4, she can win this race.
At least be second, the favorite, right? Little 6-12.
You liked her last time, didn't you?
I have mad love for Freckle to Freck.
When she was, she was 32-1, and she was 0 for 23, and I remember a lot of us actually.
No, you know what? No, the time I liked her was 2 back.
Oh, okay.
Actually, last time I didn't like her. It was
okay.
2 back I liked her. She didn't do particularly well that day.
That's
either.
okay.
But to be honest, she runs a race 2 back.
No.
Are you so sure she can't get a piece
No,
of it?
absolutely.
She
absolutely.
Be there with that race 2 back, yeah.
Definitely a horse to use underneath if you're playing exotics in here. You can get signed up and started with Naira bets all across the country. When you bet $100, $100 sign-up bonus goes into your account. Use that promo code LIVE to take advantage. Again, you can play with Naira bets all across the country, and there she is. 0 for 24, but never know. Maybe today's the day.
Listen, we've seen some crazy things going on. Why not? It's the racetrack.
It is
crazy
true.
things happen.
You know, when you look at this race, I know even money, the 14 should not be 30-1. No way. I get it if you don't like the horse, but 30-1, no way.
It's a funny race. I think
like the 11 a little bit.
I think it's a race to find some goofball, and you bet a little to win on it and play it at second the exact of the 6. How's that sound?
Well, here's our post parade. We start with Frosty J. Chardonnay for Ray Handel. Of course, who was unprepared, declared a non-starter in the debut.
I think Larry Colmus is not looking forward to calling this horse in a stretch duel. Who knows?
Here's the 2 Nancy's for Gary Contessa, Kinder Carmouche.
You know, really woke up on the turf last time. This really showed more speed and ran a nice little 4th-place finish.
Nick Zito sends out Starship Rocket with Nick Juarez.
She ran a little bit in her turf debut, very little last time.
Class dropper in start number 2, Passing Reminder for Asif Ronan with Jose Lezcano.
Yeah, slow break last time at 70-1, 14-1 today.
Heavy 4 to 5 favorite, New Canaan Irad Ortiz Jr. for Luna Rice.
Needs to get out of the gate. This filly has troubles. Irad Ortiz Jr. will be aboard and the one to beat.
After getting washed out of turf races each of the first 2 tries, 3rd time does get on the grass. Live that fantasy, 68-1.
You'll be living a fantasy if this one crosses the wire first.
Cetera is the 9. Luis Saez and Phil Serpi and the Daughter of Giants Causeway.
I guess the second likeliest winner of her last race and a positive rider switch as well.
Ava Ray is the 10. And it's John Velasquez for David Donk.
Yeah, this one gonna get on the turf for the first time, and you know this move, David's pretty good, and especially on the drop.
Jacqueline D, shortening up from a mile to 7/8 for Dominic Schettino.
Just had her share of chances, but she is a fringe player for a piece of the price.
Freckle to Freck is the 12, trained by John Hertler with Rajiv Mirage.
You know, a horse that does possess the time to do his speed going long, and I think this filly may be able to hit the board here at 17-1.
And Paulie making the case for Princess Makaya at 28-1 with Rosario Montanez.
This horse has had issues at the gate. This is a ridiculous price, 28-1. Got a big shot to hit the board.
Approaching the 4-minute mark to post in our nightcap on this Friday afternoon here at Belmont Park. Everybody thinking it's going to be New Canaan to close things out in here. 3rd start, drop in class. Last time out, had a trouble trip with a clean trip. We'll see, maybe she can get to the winner's circle. We'll be back.
Eclipse Award winner Blame retired to stud with more than $4.3 million in earnings, including a historic victory over Zenyatta in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. In 2017, his top runners include stakes winner No Fault of Mine, Japanese star Resonator, and classic winner Singa, the dominant victor of this year's Grade 1 French Oaks, weighing at Claiborne Farm.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NyraBets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NyraBets, racing's best play.
Cuando observamos que faltan 4 minutos para la partida, el día de mañana, recuerden, en la 9ª carrera tendremos el Kelso State y en la 3ª del programa de mañana tendremos otra prueba interesante, pero en superficie de grama, también para yeguas. Se trata del Noble Dancel. Grado 3 de Noble Dancel, grado 3 con $200,000 a repartir. Así que ahí tienen la información. Última carrera del programa, corre mi línea, New Canaan, número 6 es la línea. Y vamos a preguntar a nuestro amigo Luis Alberto Grandinson qué le gusta en esta última carrera del día de hoy.
Así es, Darwin, el ejemplar New Canaan, ejemplar que corrió muy bien, tiene su categoría. Presenta Linda Rice en esta oportunidad con la monta de José Ortiz.
Back on Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus in Fox Sports Ohio. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling, Paul LaDuca, and Gabby Gaudet. We're getting set for the nightcap coming up. We take a look here at Nick Zito's Starship Rocket, second start of her career. She gets on the turf at Saratoga, and she runs second at this condition.
And she ran like a horse that would appreciate more distance, so you never know if she's really more of a closing sprinter type. The problem is, I think she sort of showed some of the value of speed figures last time. She ran the same race the next time on her speed figure, and she ran 6, beating 5.5. As the competition got much tougher, and she was well behind Cetera.
Yeah, you just can't really. I mean, how do you make a case for her over Cetera in here? And, you know, Sharp Lacey's out of here, the 5, and she hasn't done much since that race either.
And she isn't even a big price. She's 8 to 1.
Yeah,
she's 18 to 1. You want to take a shot? Okay, not for me.
Now, a lot of these races, you look for horses maybe who have a little bit of upside. And with the two Nancys, at least it's just her second try on the turf, and she had a little bit of trouble out of the break.
Okay, fair enough. Listen, she's the inside speed. You're right. She's only run once in the turf. I don't like her, but I hear what you're saying.
I actually hear where you're going there, Wolfie, just because the horse could completely improve on the turf. Gary Contessa, the one category he's very good at is sprint turfing on the turf. So maybe he can get this one at 28 to 1.
Meanwhile, at 10, Ava Ray, and by the way, Angel Arroyo was originally listed as the jockey change here. He's complaining of shoulder pain, so he has gone home, and now it's John Velasquez on this 3-year-old filly by Soaring Empire. With more on this one, let's go to Gabby.
Thanks, Greg, and I got the chance to speak to David Donk about this filly, and honestly just asking him if she's going to like the turf or not. And he did say that they thought really highly of her as a 2-year-old. She was training really well, and then unfortunately with that subpar performance, they gave her time. They did a minor throat surgery on her, and it just took her some time to get back to the races. But sometimes she's a little bit of a nervous filly, and he took her to the infield here at Belmont to get her feet over the turf. And he said she absolutely relaxed, and that gave him the inclination to try her on the turf. He said that he's kind of a pedigree type of person, and she's got some turf pedigree in the 3rd generation on the bottom side too. To me, she doesn't really look turfy, but those are all good signs or good information from David Donk. So the 10 Ava Ray could take that step forward with not only the surface switch, but also the drop in class. And the 9th, Cetera, I do like this filly, and I think she might be a pace presence here because first off the layoff, she drew the rail. That was off the layoff, going 7 furlongs, and she was just pressured to go to the lead that day, and I don't think that's maybe necessarily her preferred running style. I think she's going to sit close, but probably not on the lead. And I think she's capable at 7-8, so maybe an alternative there. She's getting bet too at 4 to 1.
The weight of the world on New Canaan. Everyone on the show.
Everyone in
well,
Connecticut.
except for me.
Everyone in Connecticut.
Everyone in Connecticut and the public.
You know, I think Ava Ray's a little interesting here. You know, I know that you don't look at mares by Boston Harbor and think turf, but she's actually the dam's produced a turf winner, and the second generation of the dam. Actually, second generation, she's produced 2 turf winners. But you know this dam is a have to? A horse who was involved in one of the greatest stretch drives in racing history, Carson Hollow, was in that famous test with you a number of years back, a Bobby Frankel horse. Very good runner.
Yeah, it's funny. I was going to bring that up to you earlier. You said you were looking at a race during that Shug package, said that's the most exciting race I've ever seen. That was the most exciting race I've ever seen.
Carson, it was. But Personal Ensign, all that was at stake. And I love Personal Ensign more than any other horse my entire life. And getting up for that win was incredible.
There's Mike Luzzy off-lived that fantasy. They're going to starting crew load this one without Mike, and then he will hop aboard as soon as they get her in the gate. Daughter of Frost Giant getting on the turf here for the first time. You get a nice win going gate to wire the other day.
Luz can ride, no doubt about it. Now, Frost Giant's on the turf. That's another story. He's like 0 for 100 something with first-time turfers, I think, right?
Yeah, something in that area. Like, I want to say 3 or 4% somewhere in there.
New Canaan, the one to beat, and 6-5 favoritism. As we're just about loaded for the nightcap here on Belmont Park Live, let's send it up to the voice of New York Racing for the call, Larry Coleman.
Ava Ray with John Velasquez going into the starting gate. Next up will be the favorite New Canaan, who's at 6-5 as she steps forward. Jacqueline D taking her spot in the gate. So we're just waiting for Freckle de Freck and Princess Micaiah. New Canaan's gone up to 7-5 now. As Freckle de Freck comes forward into the starting gate. New Canaan not quite in there yet. Now she goes in, and here comes Princess Micaiah. And we'll be ready for a start. Princess Micaiah going in. They're all in line.
Todos listos en la última. Se dio la partida mala para el ejemplar.
And it is Jacqueline D who comes off running well and toward the inside. Passing reminder and live that fantasy now. Quickly take over. It's these two are 1-2, and the 2 Nancy's takes third. New Canaan will be 4th early on. Then Satara 5th to the outside. Sent along is Ava Ray between horses. Jacqueline D is there on the outside by another 2.5. Then Freckle de Freck. Starship Rocket to the inside. Break of another 5 to Princess Micaiah. The trainer is Frosty J. Chardonnay. 22.09 for the first quarter mile. Passing reminder. On top moving for the far turn. The 2 Nancy's a length and a half behind running in second. And then it's Live That Fantasy in third, 4 lengths off the lead. Jacqueline D next. New Canaan rides the rail, 3 lengths from the front. A length and a half clear of Satara. Then it's Ava Ray to the outside. Freckle de Freck is in behind them. Then Starship Rocket, Princess Micaiah, Frosty J. Chardonnay. The 2 Nancy's takes over the lead after a 45.43 half mile and turns for home in front. New Canaan is 2 lengths behind. Jacqueline D is third to the outside. They're coming into the final furlong. New Canaan and Jacqueline D move up alongside of the 2 Nancy's. Finishing fastest, Starship Rocket on the far outside, and Satara's there in between horses. It is New Canaan, Jacqueline D, these 2 coming down to the line, and it is going to be New Canaan to do it. New Canaan scores over Jacqueline D. Starship Rocket was third, and Satara was 4th in 122.61.
Well, the favorite gets the job done as the 3-2 favorites. And Jacqueline D runs a big one here in start number 12 at 12-1.
It was a great call by you with Jacqueline D. Big credit to you, Greg, who liked her. I'm annoyed this horse went in 3-2 and I didn't bet because she's an overlay at that price. She got a very good ride by Arad Ortiz, but she might have won like a 3-2 shot, but maybe not like a 4-5 shot.
Yeah, you made a good point. She struggled a little bit to win, and she got a good trip, but a great ride. And you're right, great call by Greg there. 11 was threatening there for a big second. And again, I want to keep focusing on Nicky Juarez. He's riding these long shots, and they're starting to roll. Pay attention to him. But, yeah, I'm sure the public is happy. And you get a pick 4 that pays right under the IRS line, about $539.
Which I would have hit if Mr. Buffett won.
Oh.
So I'm going to go cry.
We'll go do some curls and try to get buff?
Take me a long time.
Got some good races on the weekend to try and make up for that. New Canaan, Irad Ortiz Jr., Linda Rice, Jack Liebau, winning connections. Going to take a break in the action. Sharp Azteca, been running some monster races and will not have to deal with more spirit. Kelso coming up this weekend on Belmont Park Live. Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish from a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Chromecast, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Linda Rice ya se está preparando para venir a buscar la fotografía de recuerdo con Irak Ortiz. Su primera hoy. Para Irak Ortiz.
Back on Belmont Park Live. Of course, coming up tomorrow, it is the Kelso. Great $300,000 purse. And Sharp Azteca 4 to 5 in the morning line off that huge effort in the Great Three Monmouth Cup.
Yeah, well, we'll see how he does here. I'm betting against him.
Going to be a good race. Yeah, you like Birdsong in there at a price. Meanwhile, New Canaan takes the nightcap here, 3-2. Irad Ortiz Jr. for Linda Rice.
Congratulations, affiliate by Courageous Cat. An underrated horse, by the way, out of the powerful Elegance mare. Excuse me, Smart Strike mare. Powerful Elegance.
And I'll tell you something. You can laugh. She was 3-2 in a favorite, and you say Irad Ortiz, he wins a lot of races, he rides short-priced horses. But he made a difference with this horse.
Yeah, he did.
He really rode this horse very, very well, and a lesser ride, and it's much, much closer.
No, because here's a horse that was 6-5. I think a lot of riders would have said, okay, I'm going to ride this horse like the horse is maybe 3-2. Irad didn't. He cut some corners, and he had to because he got a tussle from the 11 all the way around the racetrack.
He's standing by right now with Gabby Gaudet.
Thanks, Greg. Obviously, Irad aboard for the win today. And Irad, this was a pretty heavy favorite as well, but you rode a perfect race. Stock is down the stretch today as she is a closing sprinter, it looks like.
Yeah, she run twice before. She run longer last time. She caught it to 7. Linda's a great trainer. She bring it ready. She made me look good because I saved ground, like she told me. Save the more ground I can, and I tip him out, and she responds pretty good.
And how important is it with these closing sprinters as well to just get them in the clear and let them get their feet underneath them?
It's just like, you know, you follow some horses and you cover it up, and when you tip them out and you got the clear, it's like somebody, you are in behind somebody and then you got clear. So, and I ask you to run and you're gonna go. So they like that. So the most of the horses, they like to be covered up and tip them out. They respond pretty good with that.
All right, I bet it feels good to get the nightcap as well. Congratulations here, Irad.
Thank you.
All right, well, he's got a big weekend as well, riding Celestine tomorrow. Greg, back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much. Well, you made a point yesterday. I mean, he made a difference-making ride on a horse that we saw hug the rail, angled out, that was beautifully done. And, I mean, both these brothers, Jose obviously is out right now, but they both are tremendous young riders.
And I think Jose's success is, in a lot of ways, very good for Irad because it's going to motivate him more, and it makes the competition between them, makes each of them ride better.
Here's the other part. I have 2 older brothers. When your older brother is, your younger brother is sort of outdoing you a little bit, you take it a tiny bit personal, because I would think Jose went to Irad for a lot of, you know, advice and stuff like that. And here's Jose, his little brother, going by him, but not far going by him. So I think Irad is, you know, I think it keeps him going. I think both of them going back and forth is great for their careers.
You know, I'm critical of Irad sometimes, and I'm going to say that I think he has ridden he has really stepped things up as well as he's done in the past. And he's, listen, critical or not, he's one of the top riders in the country. Doesn't matter what any of us think.
That's true, too.
But I really think he's been stepping it up. And one thing you like to see, no matter how good you are, and I'm sure you saw this a lot in your career, you can always get better.
No, you always can get better. You always learn something new every day. I say this to a lot of people. I played with 100 guys that I thought that I was better than, that got to the big leagues better than me, before me, but I also played with 100 guys that were way better than me that never got their shot.
It's all about work ethic a lot of times. That means a lot more than talent, but these guys, they have both.
You could learn something from that, Greg.
Thank you. I'm gone. I'm back next week on Wednesday, so you guys hold down the fort over the weekend. In the Bertram F. Bongard, WW, Wesley Ward in the Ramses, Kendrick Carmouche, Battle Station, getting the job done. First try on dirt. 2 for 2 now with a win on turf and on the main track, but I think that horse ready to stay on the main after that performance.
That was quite a performance.
Back on Saturday for Eastern. I'll be in LA, but I'll be watching, guys. I'll see you back on Wednesday next week.